So we're at the site right now.
I think you have the only access to get right inside the site before anybody else. So this is really special. So I just thought it was important for everyone to see. This is the form of the building that's starting to take shape. I mean, I think this is when this starts to rise out of the ground and you'll start to see all of it coming out, you'll start to see the actual form of King Toronto come to shape.
Today I'm here with Riz Danji, president of RAD Marketing. Thank you so much for your time. I know you're super busy and I appreciate that you...
I'm never too busy for you, Armin.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So depending on what platform you're seeing this video, we're going to talk about, in general, like Toronto real estate, what Riz thinks about the whole, what's going on in this market. And then we're going to get to the pre-construction. And at the end, we have one of the best and super exciting project in town, King Toronto. We're going to talk about that. So if you're watching the whole video, I would admire you to just stay tuned and watch to the end so you can get most of this information that Riz is going to share with us.
Perfect.
So Riz, yeah, so in this, I would say, wild market, what we just had actually another increase of mortgage, 0.5 basis point. What do you think in general about Toronto's real estate market? And what's your forecast is about the next 3-4 years? And for those people who are the sidelines, they don't know to invest or not, to hold on. You know, there's some people are looking for when it's going to get dip. And, you know, like in general, what do you think about the market?
I think one thing, Armin, people need to understand is that real estate in Toronto is going to be strong after we come out of this little period that we're in.
Right.
And one thing that is really important is pre-construction real estate is going to continue to increase in price. I have the ability, because I have so many clients, to forecast what my next projects are coming out 1 year, 2 year, 3 years from now.
Right.
And so the interesting part is every meeting that I go to, every project that we do, and we worked on many projects together,
yeah.
I can't believe what the next pricing is for similar projects that I have sold in similar neighborhoods, exactly, which are 20 to 30% more than what I did a year or a year and a half ago. And why is that happening? Number one, construction costs are at record levels.
Yep.
Yes, we will see that construction costs will stabilize, but that doesn't mean that they're going to go down.
Right.
Why? Because material costs are still too high.
Absolutely.
And there's a shortage of labor that's in Canada and around the world for construction workers.
Right.
Number two, the city of Toronto has made it very difficult for developers because development charges, which is what you pay, I pay when we buy a condominium to keep the city growing,
right,
are going up by 49% just as of April.
Wow.
So what that means is that they're increasing their prices to charge more to the end consumer to recuperate some of their development charges.
Right.
The third thing that's happening is land costs are not going down. We predicted that we thought land costs will settle. They're not settling. And the most important part as well is inclusionary zoning,
yeah,
right? And what that means is in the future, you will see up to 5% of condominium projects have affordable housing.
Right.
What affordable means is that the purchaser or the buyer has to have an affordable income bracket, which is around $50,000 a year. So in order to supplement the difference in cost, developers are going to add that cost to the market units,
exactly,
so that you'll be paying more. So in the future, if you're not buying real estate today, you are going to be paying more in the future, next year, the year after. And it's really good to buy pre-construction because you're locking in prices today,
exactly,
for 3, 4, 5 years out. You don't have to worry about it. You're buying a hedge, right? You can't really do that with stocks, or you can't do that with anything else.
Of course not.
Real estate is where you can do that, in pre-construction where you can do that.
Right. So when you touched on the inclusionary zoning, because a lot of people, they don't really know exactly how it works. So going forward, if the developers are getting a permit for new projects, they have to reserve 5 to 10% of the units for the low income people, right? If you can give us a little bit of an example, like let's say, for example, one of your projects that is...
Let's look at King Toronto.
I'll
give you an example.
If this unit, like
luxury
this,
product,
number, right, yeah,
you could be this buyer right here and paid, I don't know, $2,000+ a foot.
Right.
But this unit may be an affordable housing unit, okay, which when you cap out is really $700 a foot.
Right.
Okay? So that means that you are going to be subsidizing this buyer, and he, she could have the exact same suite as you, but be paying significantly less in mortgage costs.
Right.
But you are subsidizing the loss that the developer is taking because of that unit.
Exactly.
So that is what we're going to see in the future, is that 5% of a building like this, minimum, will have affordable housing. So if you're 400 units, you're looking at 20 to 30 units. If you're 1,000 units, right, you're looking at 50 units already, right? So that's what's going to happen. And those 50 units, let's say in a 1,000 unit project, if it's sold at, let's say, a $700 a foot, but the market is over $2,000 a foot, that delta between over 2,000 and 700 gets recuperated between all the 950 other odd units to be able to pay the higher price. That is what inclusionary zoning means.
Nice. So now I want to talk about like one of the exciting news that you just shared with us a couple of weeks ago, and it's not just exciting for me, for my buyers, for whole city of Toronto. It's just Elton John bought a unit in one of your projects, King Toronto. So can you tell us, like, when you put yourself like as a position of being a celebrity like Elton John, you could have bought anywhere in the world, any type of unit that you wanted, but he chose to be in Toronto, King West and King Toronto.
Yeah, I think it was great news for the city of Toronto. It was obviously great news for our project, King Toronto.
Right.
Elton John had been looking. His husband David Furnish is from Toronto, and they had a choice to buy anywhere. They could have bought in Rosedale, Forest Hill. We showed them places all around. They really wanted to. They looked at King Toronto and say, this is a piece of art, and we don't believe that there's any project that could be built, which we also don't believe, like this again in the city of Toronto. And they wanted, and he's a curator of art.
Right.
So he collects art. So real estate is part of his art collection.
Absolutely.
And so this is a great thing for Toronto. It's a great thing for King Toronto. But the city itself, it shows that big people from around the world, whether they're celebrities or philanthropists or people, entrepreneurs, all around the world are coming to Toronto. Given what we're seeing all around the world, where there's never places around the world, there's political instability, social instability, economic instability. Canada's a safe country. Toronto's a growing city, and people are looking at this city, and that's why we're seeing all this exact intention for people to buy.
Let's talk about the city of Toronto, and all these tech companies, like big tech companies, Shopify or Amazon, Uber, they're coming to Toronto. And there's a reason, right? Like, why do you think all these big companies are coming to Toronto? And what's the future? What's going to bring to our city when all these companies are coming? And what's going to happen to our real estate in general in our economy?
I think one of the things people need to understand is that Canada is the fastest growing immigration country in the world today.
Right.
There is no country that's accepting more immigrants than any other place in the world than Canada is.
Right.
Before, we would accept between 200,000 to 300,000 people a year, which was high at that time. Now our targets are between 400, 450, going up to 500,000.
Wow.
In fact, that 450 to 500,000 doesn't account for the 200,000 international students that come to Canada each year.
Right.
So you're looking at close to 600,000 to 700,000 people each year that are coming into Canada. And 50 to 60% of those people are coming to the Greater Toronto area, which is a huge amount of immigration. As for the tech companies, one of the things that's really important that people need to understand is that we have some of the best schools for the tech industry, for engineering, and so people from around the world are coming to study in these pockets, right? Waterloo, University of Toronto, London, all these kinds of places. And so what these tech companies are looking at is that there's a shortage of great tech talent around the world, and Canada has built an ecosystem over the past 10 to 15 years to make sure that this is going to be a tech capital of the world. In fact, we are second behind San Francisco, okay, being the tech capital of the world, which is incredible. They could go anywhere, right? One of the important things people need to understand is those tech companies like a Shopify, like Uber, like Google, are all in King West. right? Shopify just did 400,000 square feet at King and Spadina that they took office space that's coming here, right? Uber has their offices that are around here. Google has their headquarters around here. So all these tech companies are within like 4 minutes or 1 minute away from King Toronto. And so all these young talent from all around the world or local talent are staying in this area. So the demand for housing in King West is going to be increasing as the years go by. And these people are having high incomes. They want great real estate. And so this is why, you know, being in King West is an important element of buying in the city.
Thank you so much. So let's talk about King Toronto itself.
So this is King Toronto. It is the largest collection of real estate on King Street West, which is prime real estate. If we look over here, this is Spadina Street over here. This is King Street West. This is 600 feet of frontage on King Street West. Just to give you an example, it took Allied and Westbank over 10 years just to accumulate this site.
Wow.
After that, the city of Toronto wanted 4 mid-rise buildings. So a typical brick building that you would see that would match the brick existing heritage buildings that were here. They refused to accept mediocre architecture.
Wow.
So they brought in Bjarke Engels. And Bjarke Engels is one of the most influential real estate architects today in the world. He's building Google's headquarters in California. He's building cities in Japan, in China, around the world. In the US, the World Trade Center is being developed by him. So he is the most important architect. And so what he decided to do is he created this idea where Moshe Safdie created Habitat 67 in Montreal back in the 60s for the Olympics at that time. But that was set on an island, and it had these large terraces and a unique juxtaposition of a building. And so what he said, what if I could take Habitat 67 and take a glass block building like the Maison de Verre in France, which is a very famous building, incorporate both, and create a mountain scheme that can rise out of King Street West. And then make it one of the most sustainable buildings with 300 different species of plants in this project. And create a central courtyard that was animated so people could have restaurants and cafes and everything and be part of a unique community.
And it's not a stack building, like every floor plan is different and unique. That's
the great thing about this building. You can buy this unit and it will be completely different from this unit. So it's unlike a typical stack building where all the O1 units are all the same. Your resale value, your rental value will be different because no one can compare the price of a unit next to it. So that's the great thing about King Toronto. And so the building will be surrounded all the way around with retail at the base. You can see the retail here, close to 180,000 square feet of retail. The building is built up into 4 mountains. Almost every single unit has a large terrace or a balcony as per the plan. On the south side of the project, there will be a park as well of the building. And then the piece de resistance is going to be the central beautiful courtyard that we have here. That what Westbank is doing is animating this with restaurants and retail. So it feels like you're in a piazza or you feel like you're in London walking through the main streets. So this is something that if I said to Westbank today, if you wanted to recreate this, whatever you're paying today, double that in price. And that's what it would cost if you were doing that building absolutely today. And that's why this is so unique.
And these glass walls they're getting built in France, right? In Paris, and they're going to ship it here, and they're going to bring it in and install it in at the site.
Yes, so the glass block is being created in France. It's been shipped to in Pickering. It's being installed on curtain wall system, and then it's going to be implemented on site. It's never been done in history by any developer in the world. This is the first time it's done, and so it's going to be a really unique concept. The other thing that's interesting is that when the light hits this building, and because of the glass block, so if you're different times of the year, the building will look different on a color every single different time of the year, whether it's winter and summertime. So you won't even see that the building looks the same all the way throughout. So that is why this is such a special project in the city of Toronto.
Amazing. No, not just real estate collectors are buying in this building, we still have products for people are from 900 to million to get into this amazing project. So that's another beauty of this building. You don't need to pay 50 million to be in this building. It's such a spectacular, unique in the world.
Yes,
you can get in with million to just get being a part of this iconic building. And
absolutely, you can start project units start here from $1 million. We've got units from $1.5 million, $2 million,
right.
$3 million, $4 million, up to 15 million. Elton John's particular suite is just right over here.
Nice.
And you can be right next to him and his family for $15 million for the next penthouse that's close to that.
So if you want to be a neighbor with Elton John, it costs you $50 million.
It costs you $50 million.
Perfect.
That's right.
Thank you. Unique models that we have in this building, which is, I like how they name it. So this one is the tea house, penthouse.
Yeah, so one thing that's important about King Toronto is what we wanted to do is there were 8 different types of penthouses in the project, right. And each of them have their own book, their own design inspiration.
Yeah.
If you hired Bjarke Engels today to do a project for you and design his own house, it'll probably cost you between $5 and $8 million just for his design services. What he's done is curated every single penthouse in these in King Toronto so that it's unique to every single buyer. So not one penthouse looks anything alike. And so I'll give you an example. Yep. This is the treehouse that Elton John had bought.
Nice.
It's got a spiral gold staircase that goes up to the 2nd floor. It's got 4 terraces.
Nice.
Okay. It's got a tree that actually grows in the center of it. And you've got this amazing kitchen also that's gold all the way around, right? So that in itself is such a unique feature. And because it's sitting on the top of the building, you can see that no one really can know that you're really on the top because it's so green and it's lush and it's hidden away. So the privacy factor was an important factor for them to purchase in this project. And then some more to show you. This is actually the greenhouse. Right. So you actually have a greenhouse on the exterior of one of your terraces, so you can actually have, breakfast, lunch, dinner, anytime during the winter time. Nice. Usually you can't use your outdoor space. This is a full greenhouse. You can actually grow your own herbs and so on and so forth in there. It's such a unique concept, and it's also got a spiral staircase that goes up. We actually sold a penthouse during the middle of COVID.
Right.
That was over $16 million. There's the entire East Mountain, which is here. Right. And the buyer put in his own swimming pool, private swimming pool that's in there, a massive wine cellar. So anything that you wanted to do, so unique, King Toronto has that for you that will separate it from anything else in the city.
Absolutely, absolutely. Nice. Are we still at the stage that if anyone wants to buy any of these penthouses, do the modification? Or, yeah? We
are at the stage, we only have 5 penthouses left. All the other ones are sold out. You're at the stage where you can still do your changes on it.
Right.
If you're buying a typical unit, you'll literally have a couple of weeks before you can actually make the changes for your finishes before we're actually closing that off. So it's a good opportunity to buy right now and make those color changes that you want in your suite.
Talking about like this typical units, let's talk about studios, 1-bedroom, 1+ den, that if anyone purchases it right now, we're actually giving them a full furnished unit. So can we talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go over and take a look at what you get when you get a studio 1+ den in Toronto.
Talk about studios, 1-bedroom, and 1+ den. So I know we have a very great deal for those purchasers. Can you tell us a little bit about the B&B Italia and what they're actually getting with these units?
Yeah, I think it's important to understand that at King Toronto, if you buy Studio 1 or 1+ den, you get B&B Italia furniture included in the purchase price. So who's B&B Italia? B&B Italia is one of the most luxurious, high-end furniture manufacturers in the world today, based in Italy. They are actually now building their own B&B Italia condominium building in South Beach in Miami.
Oh, wow, nice.
That's how luxury they are. If you go to some of the top hotels, like Bulgari Hotel in Milan, it's all B&B Italia furniture. Nice. So if you want to be part of the upper best in the world, this is the best in the world. So these are just some samples of some of the furniture that you get in your suite at B&B
Nice.
Italia. Like for instance, this couch itself would be a $5,000 to $6,000 couch US.
Yeah.
You know, just to purchase this. So these are all included in your suite. The other thing that's important to understand is that what he's done is Bjarke Ingels has designed his own light fixtures for this project.
With B&B? Like
No, with is Aramiti.
Okay.
Okay, they're a big Italian company that does lighting fixtures for residential and office and so on and so forth. So they've actually built their own one, designed it that Bjarke Ingels wanted, and it's specific for this building.
Oh, nice.
So in each of your living areas and in your bathrooms, you will get a custom designed Bjarke Ingels light that's part of the project.
Right.
That's how unique King Toronto is,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Everything from the flooring
Yeah.
that mimics the exterior expression from the outside, the B&B Italia furniture, the lighting that you see, the kitchens are unique, the design, the luxury finishes. You just can't find that in the city.
Absolutely.
And that's why we know in the next 5 to 10 years, this project will elevate in resale rental value than any other project in the city of Toronto.
100%, 100%. So if you're buying one of these studios or one bedroom or plus den, you just need to bring your luggage in and you're good to go. You don't need to worry about any furniture, light fixtures or anything. I like this view. Such a nice view. You have it in here with the CN Tower. So we're at the site right now.
I think you have the only access to get right inside the site before anybody else.
Thank
So
you,
this is
thank
really special. So I just thought it was important for everyone to see. This is the form of the building that's starting to take shape. I mean, I think this is when this starts to rise out of the ground and you'll start to see all of it coming out, you'll start to see the actual form of King Toronto coming to shape.
Right.
It's looking incredible right now. You can see how the angular portion of the building, the glass block will obtain from there.
Nice. No, I can
At the
see
base, you can see on the back, the height is higher over there because the retail will be encompassing
nice.
the south side.
Yep.
And that will encompass all the way across. So this entire site, you'll start to see, start rising up. And like you can see, you'll have these beautiful views
Nice.
around Toronto. And this central courtyard will be from this centerpiece onwards.
So
on there.
now we just to let the audience know, we are actually at the West Mountain, right? This is going
You're at
south.
the West Mountain is right here.
Here, yeah.
Yes.
And that's going to be south and then east. And this is going to be a courtyard with all the shoppings, whatever the
Shop,
stores,
retail, all the way that will be coming. You can see the retail starting to take shape over there, and that will start to spill over onto the courtyard area. So this is going to be a really unique piece, a part of the of the 600 feet of frontage that you get on King
See the
Street
finished
West.
products in here and how it's going to change dramatically the King West.
Yeah, I think what people don't understand is this feet of frontage, you can see how massive it is.
Massive.
Imagine all the retail coming along this section, curving all the way to the back, the building rising above it. So I think it's people for understand that this, also you have the Ace Hotel that just got built
Right.
just up the road, which is an American-based hotel. You've got the One Hotel, American-based hotel that just came on King Street, both on King Street West.
Yep.
All the retail that you have here. This is going to be the most important area in King Street West when it's completed in the next few years, and people will not regret their purchase here at King Toronto.
I'm super excited.
I'm really excited too.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Look forward to hear you again.
Yeah.